The group Shuttermaniacs was established to create a forum for people who shot with anything other than an SLR camera or a rangefinder or a point and shoot. This was during the time when photography was transitioning from analog to digital. So in this forum, I encouraged people to simply take photos regardless of the medium they were using. But personally, I still prefer shooting with the proper camera, an SLR or a point and shoot. In this day and age, people love taking photos conveniently with their mobile phones or smartphones. There's nothing really wrong with that. The point really is for people to be constantly aware of their surroundings and keep that passion burning with regards to taking photographs. But personally, as someone who's been shooting since 1976, having learned on mechanical cameras, I still prefer to shoot an SLR camera. These days, photography, for all practical intents and purposes, is done on digital format. I don't see anything wrong with using the term SLR as opposed to digital SLR. But at any rate, that's merely semantics. So I prefer to shoot with a proper camera or an SLR, either an SLR or a point and shoot. Why? Because for a photographer to be worth the name, he or she should be able to master the instrument, just like a musician will master the piano or the horns or the guitar. A good photographer must be able to handle a camera properly. And while I've seen YouTube influencers bash the latest Canon offering the R100 for lacking an articulating LCD and touchscreen functionality, I think that's all a load of crap. A camera is a camera. Let's differentiate the camera from a smartphone. For a professional like me, I still prefer shooting with all my tactile controls, being able to manually operate the camera, or being in control of my exposure, the shutter speed, the aperture, the ISO. Because that's what being a photographer is all about, being in control, being a master of your craft. Where people are so into the convenience of touchscreen and zooming in and out using their fingers. But I think that's the wrong way to use your fingers. The proper way to use your fingers is to manipulate the knobs and dials of a camera, being able to hit the right exposure settings, etc., etc. And nothing really beats the feel of doing photography with the proper camera. For one, the LCD screen is often blinded by bright sunlight in daylight conditions. So it's really nice to have a viewfinder when it comes to shooting a camera. It's for me, it's a very important component of any camera is to have a viewfinder. For one, because your eye is concentrated on the image and your hands and arms are in a better position to stabilize the shot, especially if you're doing night photography without a tripod. So those are just some of the merits of shooting with the proper camera. For another, it also distinguishes the professional from the amateur. Now, there's nothing wrong with the term amateur, and I use it with all due respect. An amateur may be an enthusiast who doesn't shoot for money, and a professional is someone who definitely shoots for an assignment with cash involved. And the thing is, it's not proper to see a professional using a smartphone in a major photo op. So that's what distinguishes a professional from everybody else, is the use of a camera. Besides, these days, the cost of smartphones or a good smartphone that will shoot great photos and great videos would be just about as expensive as an entry-level DSLR or an equivalent camera. So I guess the proper choice would be to learn the traditional way of shooting photographs and videos with a camera designed for the task, rather than just use your smartphones. That's just something to think about. That's about it for this edition of The Shuttermaniac. I'm Direct Abs. Make serendipity happen.